Israel has just signed a free trade deal with the United Arab Emirates, its first with an Arab country. The deal's the latest move to build on the U.S. brokered normalization of relations between the two. That 2020 deal was part of the U.S. brokered Abraham Accords that also saw Israel establish diplomatic ties with Bahrain and Morocco. Well, our Iris Mackler's keeping an eye on this story for us from Jerusalem. She joins me now live from there. Iris, this is the first deal of its kind. What exactly does it say?
It says its aim is to make a business more easy. Obviously, it's a free trade agreement. It reduces tariffs by almost 100%. It sets rules for taxes, for intellectual property, all the things that will make it easy for companies to do reciprocal trade. Israel UAE Business Council estimates that there'll be 1,000 companies trading within the UAE or through the UAE by the end of the year. And the UAE says that within the next 5 years, they'll be doing $10 billion of trade a year through this. So both sides talking it up and very pleased to have signed this deal. And, normally these negotiations take about 18 months. They got through these in 6 months. They really wanted to sign.
There is a political dimension here, however, particularly when we think about the violent protests we saw there Sunday. It seems, though, that really hasn't had any effect on this deal. Why?
That's right. I think the interests of both sides in signing, let's look at Israel first. It's obvious that Israel wants its access to the Middle East, to all those ports, all the way going across. It's a hub. And that's what is in, I think, the UAE's interests. The UAE has signed a deal with India, a free trade deal with India in February. It's looking to sign a deal with Korea and Indonesia soon. It's looking, as it's always been talking about, the day after oil. It wants to set itself up as this hub for international trade. And its deal with Israel is part of that vision for itself. It has commented on the violence with the Palestinians. It's called on Israel to pull back, to take all responsible steps. And by the way, invited journalists who were meant to attend the signing this morning were told at the last minute they couldn't come. I don't know what that's about. There was some trepidation, but it didn't stop either side from signing.
Iris, thank you for that. Iris Mackler reporting for us from Jerusalem.